This video is going to be a little later on in the day, obviously. As you can see, the lighting is a little bit different, so it may not look as good as it usually does. But either way, I'm still here to bring you the second quarter because I still got to do a lot more analysis for this game and getting ready for the next upcoming weeks. But we're going to get right into it. Here's the second quarter of Florida State versus Alabama. Now, Alabama started in a nickel formation in the second quarter. Tony Brown's at the star position. Minkah Fitzpatrick is not in at this moment, so that was interesting to see. And also, Keith Holcomb is in at the will linebacker position. Rashaan Evans was at the Sam linebacker position. So in this formation, Brown blitzes as well as Evans coming off the rush as well. The Florida State line holds up really well here, even though the blitz was coming. And that leaves Nyquan Murray free on a dig route. It was a bust in coverage. At first, I didn't know who was supposed to have him, but I believe it was Trayvon Diggs. It was between Diggs and Hootie Jones, but it was probably Diggs as he's the newer guy, and he seemed like he was trailing the guy after he realized that he was free. So that may be a reason why we saw Levi Wallace a lot more as the game progressed. At the 14-minute, 28-second mark, double tight end formation by Florida State. Williams at left end here. Miller as in... not Miller, but Williams as in Quinnen Williams. Christian Miller was at Sam linebacker. And on his play, Quinnen Williams knifed inside Leonard really easily, but the scheme pushed him right. So the scheme was to push everybody left and let the running back come back right. But the line of scrimmage was still stacked nonetheless, and Josh Patrick was held to 1 yard. And I think Quinnen Williams was more like at defensive tackle here because I think I saw hand on the outside. So it was a bit of an interesting formation as we switched the defensive lineman around a little bit. Now, at the 13-minute, 50-second mark, it was an I formation as Alden Tate is on the outside to the right, and he's actually matched up on Minkah Fitzpatrick. So Minkah Fitzpatrick one-on-one with Alden Tate, who's 6'5", Minkah Fitzpatrick 6'1". Height disadvantage. Florida State took advantage of it. Bama contained here on the line of scrimmage instead of an all-out rush. I'm assuming here to prevent the DeAndre Francois scramble, which would be an easy touchdown, so they made him throw, and he did, and it was a good throw. Tate was just too tall as he plucks the ball out of the air. It was well placed by DeAndre Francois. Well placed. Excellent throw by him. I see why Jimbo likes him. He lofts the ball high and outside. I stress this all the time. I keep telling you guys this. When you throw a fade route, when you throw the ball toward the sideline, you want to throw it high and outside, and that is what he did. If you want to see this, go look at it so you'll know what I'm talking about. Tate has to turn toward the right sideline and high point the ball. That's exactly what you want to see on a fade route. Best place for the ball on the fade route. And it was back shoulder. That's exactly what you need. Minkah couldn't get to the ball even if he wanted to. Couldn't get a hand on it. Bama, now here we go. We're going back to Alabama. So Florida State scored a touchdown here, going up 7-3. Bama's possession at 13 minutes, 36-second marks. 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers. So we're mixing up our formations too. Najee Harris is in, gets his first run. It's a run play stretch left, but he seemed like he was a little impatient here on his first college run as he runs into his own man on the block. But to be fair, Frederick Jones shed Lester Cotton's block, that cut block so easily that he didn't have anywhere to cut back to when he saw the hole was filling up. That would have given him a cutback lane if Frederick Jones had been cut well, but Frederick Jones just played that way too well. 13-minute, 10-second mark. Jerry Jeudy's now in the slot, and we have 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end. Calvin really motions to halfback to the left of Jalen Hurts in the shotgun formation. The Alabama line blocked down right as Matt Womack and Lester Cotton pull to the left side of the formation on a QB draw. It was a good job by Jalen Hurts here to bounce the ball outside and get a few yards. So we noticed, and I'll come back later on and explain that. 12 minutes, 35-second mark. Jonah Williams really respects Burns. I noticed this as I continue to watch him, Brian Burns specifically on Jonah Williams. He's really quick, Jonah Williams is, to give the inside. Like, he takes a big step to hurry up and get himself outside that Brian Burns cannot beat him outside. So that they really respect Brian Burns' speed rush, and I see why. But he really gives us the inside. But Burns, though, is still trying to beat him to the outside, so it doesn't matter. And he's blocked, so Jonah Williams gets him. But Josh Sweat beats Matt Womack on the edge on the right side. So he beats him with a speed rush. But it's too late, though, as Jalen Hurts hits the hitch route to Calvin Ridley. I think Frederick Jones and number 94 of the Florida State defensive line tried to do a stunt in the middle, but it was too slow, though, for a quick play. So stunts don't work unless you're doing a longer developing pass play. And this play was too quick for a stunt to work. Also, Hale Hinkes, number 84, the Alabama tight end, on this same play, beat Roderick Hoskins, the Florida State best run-stopping linebacker, in my opinion. He beat him easily down the field. He's not that great in coverage, and I see why now. As Hinkes ran right by him up the field. It could have been a big play, but Jalen, being smart, taking his chances, he just threw the ball to Calvin Ridley to get the safe, guaranteed first down. But that could have been a big play up the field. I don't know if anybody was behind Hinkes over there to stop him, but if he had to hit him down the field, that could have been a big play too. 12 minutes, 10 seconds. It was the same QB draw play as before, as the one I just described 2 plays ago, where they pulled Cotton and Womack. They did it again, and it worked even better. He got more yards first down and everything. The Florida State defense, and this is the reason why they ran it again, they were flooding the line of scrimmage. They kept blitzing inside, playing the middle of the line of scrimmage because they were trying to stop the inside runs. And so Brian Dable, the Alabama offensive coordinator, is like, well, let's get them to the outside. We're going to fake the ball inside. We're going to run to the outside. And it worked really well. And so that was a little chess match going on between Charles Kelly and Brian Dable. Now, on the next play, let me see, where am I going next? Oh, at the 11-minute 40-second mark. It was good pass protection for Alabama, but Jonah Williams could have been better as he extended. You don't want to ever see offensive linemen kind of pull their hands forward or push their arms forward to get the block. He kind of did that a little bit on Josh Sweat. It's a bad idea, but Josh Sweat couldn't really capitalize on the play, and that caused, Williams to push him toward the outside, and Hurts was able to step up in the pocket here and deliver his best pass of the night. He stepped up, set his feet, threw the ball with timing and anticipation of Ridley being in stride. He threw the ball up the field on the money, hit Ridley in stride for the best, beautiful pass I've seen Jalen Hurts throw. One of the most beautiful passes I've ever seen him throw in an Alabama uniform. And this is just a pure sign of his development. I really don't have to talk about this play too much, because if you see this play, you'll see what I mean. It was just that good. It was just that good. It was beautiful. And Florida State, and I think Florida State playing a cover 3, from my opinion, in this on this look, or on that play. And Derwin James is down here playing like a corner-like position in the middle of the field zone. And Erman Lane was the safety at the top. So when you play cover 3, you have 3 deep zones. McFadden was playing 1 deep zone. Stanford Samuels was playing another deep zone. And Erman Lane was playing the top safety deep zone. And he made a critical mistake. Jerry Juden came in motion and did like a swing pass fake type thing. And they did not respect the Alabama down the field passing game at this point. And so when he saw Jerry Jeudy do that, Erman Lane left his top zone and ran down to play that play. And when he saw the ball didn't come out fast, he knew it was too late. He just kind of sat in the middle of the field. And Jalen Hurts saw this. He saw it. But really burned Stanford Samuels. Had him beat. Excellent speed, great route runner. Stanford Samuels, true freshman, can't do anything about it. Had him over the top, right in that vacated zone of Erman Lane. Jalen Hurts lofted that beautiful pass to him and got the touchdown. Also on this same play, Henry Ruggs was wide open on a crossing route coming from the left side of the formation, because the cover 3 zone just wasn't played well, it seemed. And Ruggs was wide open, so Jalen Hurts actually had the opportunity to hit Ruggs too, and possibly still get the touchdown and let him run past Stanford Samuels if he ever came back to play this, or take the bigger shot to Calvin Ridley, which he did take, and hit it perfectly. So great play, well designed by Brian Dable, typical of a Patriots type pass play, deep post route and a crossing route going across the middle, because Florida State just wasn't respecting the down the field pass, and we made them pay for it. Now, on the next play, at the 11-minute 28-second mark, Isaiah Buggs, so this was the line of the Alabama defensive line going across from left to right. Buggs, Frazier, Hand, Lewis. A stunt by Hand and Frazier wasn't completely effective here, but Frazier pushed Cole Minshew so far back that he was in the throwing lane and he batted the ball with his jump as he got into the air. This is like and also Isaiah Bucks was beating Leonard. He was beating Rick Leonard from that left side. Beat Rick Leonard really easily on the edge, but it was too late. He didn't get the Francois in time, but he didn't have to because Frazier. And Lewis, funny enough, was being handled by Ryan Izzo. Izzo was over here blocking him like he was a tackle, and I was like, dang, Lewis, you getting whipped. But either way, this is the perfect example of what I mean by Alabama defensive linemen this year having that control the line of scrimmage type power where they dominate you, not necessarily with technical pass rushing skills with hand uses, but by using their strength to control where the offensive linemen are. That's the type of defensive line Alabama was going to have. And also after Frazier like batted that ball, sorry for all the noise, I'm outside. What happened? Mac Wilson was able to dive for the interception, but he wasn't able to get it, of course. But even if Frazier hadn't tipped it, Levi Wallace was playing pretty tight coverage on Alden Tate, so I'm not sure how the play would have turned up anyway. But great job by Josh Frazier. Go look at that play and watch his strength. That's the 11-minute, 28-second mark. So there you go. And the next play was 11-minute, 22-second mark. Bugs and Frazier on the inside here. Levi Wallace is on the outside. And yeah, like I said, Bugs and Frazier are on the outside this time. And they have Levi Wallace on the, where is he? Where is Levi Wallace? He's on the outside. He's on the outside to the right. And then you have Minka Fitzpatrick in the slot. Florida State has solid protection overall on this play. Even though Terrell Lewis was beating Leonard with one arm and closing in, the interior was clean. But Frazier jumped again because he wasn't being moved, and he tipped the pass again. And it's probably because Francois is small. He's only about 6 feet tall, so he was able to get up and smack that ball. Kelly held, and also notice here that Kelly also held up pretty well on Deshaun Hand, but he was being pushed into the backfield. So it was just an interesting dynamic to watch all of these guys kind of going at it here. Next play, Rashaan Evans is at the jack linebacker position, and he's on the blitz, and he completely destroys Rick Leonard, but Francois hits with it. Jox Patrick on a check down because the blitz was coming, and he got a few yards, but that made it 4th down, so they had to punt. And I believe that was actually the first punt of the whole game, so it's kind of crazy. 10 minutes, 21 seconds. They try to play action right, but DeMarcus Christmas, Alabama now, they try to play action right, but DeMarcus Christmas went by Bradley Bozeman. This is just how quick he is as a defensive tackle. This is scary. Went by Bozeman before he could even get a hand on him, and it blew up the play action completely. And Jalen had to get rid of it immediately. He ran, he scrambled back to the left side formation, but Josh Sweat was now coming, so he had to just throw the ball away. So they completely destroyed the play on that one. 10 minutes, 16 seconds, we were out in 2 tight ends, and we did a stretch run left, but it was ineffective as Bo bounced it outside, but the pursuit from Florida State is just too good. They're too fast. You can't get to the outside on these guys. It was kind of crazy. But also Josh Sweat thumped Jonah Williams, which really caused Bo to bounce it outside. If he hadn't been thumped on that play, like pushed back, Bo probably could have cut inside of him and gotten a few yards there. So good run defense by Josh Sweat, actually. 9 minutes, 35 seconds. They sent Derwin James on a blitz from the left side of the defense again. They love doing that. Left side of the defense, which would be the right side of the offensive line. And what happened? It wasn't picked up again. Just wasn't picked up again. I don't know why, but James gets a free run at Jalen Hurts. Actually, I think the reason why it didn't get picked up, the same reason why Rick Leonard keeps giving up his, is because Florida State put some guys close to the outside, so that makes Womack block that other end, and that leaves Derwin James. But James gets a free run at Jalen Hurts. But Jalen is another example of his development. This is what I mean. Pay attention to me. Jalen Hurts saw the blitz coming, felt it coming, knew he was going to get smacked by James, kept his eyes up, saw Judy come open on a little short curl hitch, whatever it was, and tried to fling the ball out there anyway. And it was almost complete, but Florida State being tricky with their blitz, they actually dropped DeMarcus Christmas, a defensive tackle, out into zone, and he was actually getting in the way of the throw, and he hit Judy before he could even get a chance to kind of reach out for the ball. So this is just a great defensive play by Florida State, but don't miss Jalen Hurts' development and awareness and even ability to make a pass, even under pressure. This is not something you should overlook. But with that though, that puts a fourth down. Now Alabama has to punt. So the last two possessions, so 2 possessions in a row, they're punting. Uh, and they were the first punts of the game, which is crazy for both teams. This first time Bama punted, and that was the first time Florida State punted. Now Florida State's back on the ball. They got a shotgun run left going for Cam Akers. Deron Payne and who is it? Deron Payne and Quentin Williams. They get really deep penetration here, but this is Cam Akers' first run of his college career, so he's really excited. Um, but a hole opens up just to the left of them because Cole Minshew and Landon Dickerson actually get good blocks on Sean Dion Hamilton and Rashaan Evans, leaving a hole for Akers to pick. Akers gets through there and gets for a 9-yard gain, but he gets greeted. He gets welcomed to college football by Ronnie Harrison as Ronnie Harrison smacks him. But it was a great play. Showed some good bursts. I was really impressed with Cam Akers' running ability here. 8 minutes, 45 seconds. 2 tight ends again for Florida State, and they do an inside run for the first down with Cam Akers. So Cam Akers is running hard, but the reason why this play was successful is because Deshaun Hand may have been a little bit too aggressive over there on his side. He probably should have just played run discipline, played his gap, and played the run, but instead he trying to make a play and tried to go around his guy, and that left a hole for Cam Akers to run through for the easy first down. Everybody else did fine in their run gap assignment, so I was wondering if Hand was just told to rush on the outside and let the other guys play the middle. Either way, it was a first down run. And actually on this play, Cam Akers carried Deron Payne a little bit. He carried him. This guy is strong. I was like, this true freshman running back. No wonder Alabama wanted him on the tackle. So, man, crazy. 8 minutes, 15 seconds left. A shotgun run right wide. They tried to go run right from shotgun. Run right wide. But it was nullified because Alabama won the line of scrimmage here. We won the line of scrimmage. And this is where you're starting to see Levi Wallace now. I guess Trayvon Diggs' trouble is finally getting Alabama to get him out of there, at least for this time. I lost where I was for a second here. Oh, and Levi Wallace shed his block on the outside, forcing Akers to run even wider toward the right sideline, and Minkah Fitzpatrick cleaned it up. So Levi Wallace shedding his block here, making a play immediately. Good job, Levi Wallace. This is my boy. 7 minutes, 33 seconds. A blitz from Rashaan Evans causes Rick Leonard to slide back in and try to block toward the inside and block Evans. But Jennings, so Leonard has a tendency to do this. When he sees somebody blitz inside, he comes down. I guess that leaves the free rusher one-on-one with the quarterback. And I guess the offensive personnel are telling their quarterback to make the free rusher miss. I don't know what Alabama and Florida State was doing when guys were coming off the edge, but this is apparently what they must be telling their guys to make the free rusher miss because Jennings came free, but a quick pass from Francois gets about 2 or 3 yards as he just gets rid of the ball. He sees the pressure come. So Alabama is not content with letting Francois sit there and pass the ball. They're coming after him, and that makes Francois throw the ball, get rid of it earlier, which is why Florida State's now trying to run the ball to get some balance because Alabama's sending pressure at them. So at the 6 minute 50-second mark, Alabama has 6 people on the line of scrimmage. Tony Brown is blitzing from the star position, and Rashaan Evans is at the jack. And it was just too much for Rick Leonard and Minshew to handle as they were immediately beaten and the pressure was on Francois. He does his little falling away throw thing that he does when he gets scared. So Francois, when he feels the pressure and he sees it, he just kind of hurry up, turns his body away, and falls back when he throws the ball. And that's what he did here. He was trying to anticipate Murray coming open, but Bama was playing man-to-man coverage, and we pressed him off the line of scrimmage. So it threw off the timing of the whole play. Nothing they could do there. 6 minutes, 38 seconds. Bama had good run blocking, so we're back on the ball now. Had good run blocking, pushing interior, some good run block push interior, as Damian Harris gets about 3 yards. It could have been more if Florida State hadn't recovered on their run defense. Like after they got pushed initially, they started holding up really well. Frederick Jones and all those guys, they're just talented, man. It's hard to move these guys in that defensive tackle on the inside. But he got about 3 yards. So Alabama's trying to establish the run here. Florida State, yeah, I said they just held their own there. Now the 6 minutes, hey, 6 minutes 3 second mark. Brian Burns and Sweat. Wait, what happened? Oh yeah, Brian Burns and Josh Sweat destroyed Matt Womack and to a certain degree Jonah Williams. Burns is ironically Burns beat Jonah Williams with power, and Josh Sweat beat Matt Womack with speed. And it's ironic because they usually do the opposite there: Sweat with power, Burns with speed. But to his credit, though, Jonah Williams did stay in front of Burns. He just got thumped pretty hard as Burns converted his speed to power and pushed him basically almost into Jalen Hurts. But meanwhile, Sweat just immediately just went right around Matt Womack. Womack couldn't stop him at all. Luckily, Hurts is really strong. He has a strong lower body. If you ever paid attention to his powerlifting and squatting, he shook off Sweat, and unfortunately, he ran into the rest of the Florida State defensive line as they were playing contain with those defensive tackles. Nothing we could do. Linebackers came up, stopped the play short. So, 5 minutes 23-second mark. Amazing protection. It could have been amazing protection, but I think Florida State also was trying to play contain again. So both of these defensive lines at time were just playing contain so that the quarterback wouldn't roast them. But Jalen didn't have any rush here. He had time, and he didn't force the ball, and he didn't just take off and run. He actually checked the ball down to Calvin Ridley here, but it ended up being short of the first because Florida State was playing coverage instead of trying to be aggressive. But on this play, even though Florida State was probably containing, Brian Burns was definitely rushing, and Jonah Williams had him beat actually. So good job by Jonah Williams. Now Alabama had to punt, so it's the third punt in a row. So now both of these defenses are really dialing in. They aren't just making impressive plays anymore; they're actually stopping these offenses from moving the ball. That's 4 in a row. Oh yeah, it's 4 in a row, not 3 in a row. 4 punts in a row from both Alabama and Florida State. Not individually, both had 2, so that makes 4 total. 4-minute 45-second mark. Florida State tries tricking, or they try a little trickery play, a little more trickery here, flipping the ball to George Campbell. But Terrell Lewis here, staying disciplined, seeing the play coming, went to the outside, jumped over Francois, and tackled Campbell in the backfield. He's so talented, and it's unfortunate that he got hurt. Man, we're going to miss him. 4 minutes, 5 seconds of good pass protection for Florida State, but Alabama's coverage was too good, just too good. Levi Wallace had Keith Gavin jammed. That is the textbook press coverage. Go look at this play and watch Levi Wallace on the right sideline here, just jamming up Keith Gavin and throwing off the timing of the play while Rashaan Evans was on the tight end, so good sticky coverage on the tight end. He instinctively, because the ball was flying by him, stuck his hand out and actually tipped it. So, good instinctive play by Rashaan Evans to tip the ball, and great technique on the press by Levi Wallace. So, honestly, in my opinion, so far, Levi Wallace is outplaying Trevon Diggs, at least when it comes to not being tricked by formations. So, smart guy. I just tell you, smart guy. On the next play, Wallace again making his name known, snuffed out the screen pass, and he was all over it. Like I said, he's smart. He knew it was coming, was all over the receiver, and got him down before he can really secure the ball. So 3 and out. Alabama put Florida State on a 3 and out. Florida State was getting scared of the rush now. They were doing quick passes, trying not to let Alabama get to them with those blitzes. And Florida State's defensive line, to their credit too, was also making a rough day for Jalen Hurts. So, like I said, both of these defenses dialing in. So that's 5 punts in a row. And then, oh yeah, that's crazy because I think who did the shank punt? I know J.K. Scott did the shank punt, but I'm trying to remember where it came from here. But yeah, it was just 3 and out. Oh, that 3 and out, actually, the reason why that's significant is because J.K. Scott had actually shanked the punt and had only punted it 9 yards before Florida State started this drive that I was just talking about. So this stop was really, really monumental for the Alabama defense. So good job. 3 minutes, 6 seconds. So now Alabama's back on the ball. DeMarcus Christmas just had his way. Just had his way with Bozeman on this play. Bozeman, you just struggled with Christmas at time. Once DeMarcus Christmas saw that it was a running play, because Alabama did a little fakery too. Once he saw that it was a running play, he shed him with ease. It's like he was waiting. He said, okay, Bozeman, it's a running play. Get out of my way. That's what it looked like. Go look at the play. 3 minutes, 6 seconds left. He just got out of the way, and he made the tackle. It was scary. 2 minutes, 28 seconds left. Matthew Thomas, he simply blitzed from the left side of the offensive line, which is the right side of the defense, and it just wasn't picked up again. Jalen Hurts had to scramble to the right and just get rid of the ball. I was so tired of seeing this type of play work. It was the LSU game plan for Jalen Hurts last year all over again. But this time Jalen Hurts was, he's looking up and he's looking to throw the ball. So I'm not mad at him. So next play, 2 minutes, 20 seconds. So that's actually an example of what I mean by Jalen Hurts developing. Last year against LSU, when that blitz came, he's just running and he's like, you can tell he just kind of like, I got to run or just get rid of the ball. This time, he was actually running right while still looking up and then decided to get rid of the ball, and he wasn't looking to just take off. Another example of development. Please do not say Jalen Hurts is not developing. 2 minutes, 20 seconds now. 4 wide receivers. So we actually went 4 wide now. Jerry Jeudy, of course, is on the field. I think Cam Sims and, of course, Calvin Ridley and Robert Foster. Pass protection was great. It was absolutely great until Lester Cotton got the holding, which I don't necessarily agree with, and I want you guys to correct me if you think I'm wrong, but go look at this play. 2 minutes, 20 seconds. Let me finish detailing it first. So, first of all, Bo Scarborough didn't pick up Tavares McFadden on the blitz. So, Tavares McFadden came from the boundary blitz. Bo Scarborough did a horrible job pass protecting here and missed it. And so, Hurts had to scramble to the right. But he picked his head up as he was scrambling. And then before he crossed the line of scrimmage, he was still looking up. And he hit Jerry Jeudy on a crossing route with accuracy on the run, running to his right, throwing the ball to his right. Excellent play. Excellent play by Jalen Hurts. Pure sign of development. I don't know what you guys are talking about who say he's not developing. But no. What made this play bad was that, so Lester Cotton got the holding call. And honestly, this is what I mean by go back and look at it. Lester Cotton blocked his guy really well and then took him to the ground. But I didn't really see, and you can correct me, I didn't see much of a holding call or arm hook or anything like that. It looks like the guy just went to the ground. Not on his own volition because Lester Cotton was blocking him, but it looked like Lester Cotton's block just put him on the ground. And it's really hard to call that a holding call. I'm not sure if I would have called it a holding call. What do you guys think? Florida State fans, if you believe it was holding, let me know why. Alabama fans, if you believe it was holding, let me know why. If not, tell me why too. I just thought that was interesting. I would love to discuss that with you all. So yeah, that was a crazy play, but I was really impressed with Jalen Hurts. 1 minute, 59 seconds. Great pass protection, but Hurts decides to take off. So this is actually one of the few times that I think Jalen Hurts got a little bit too happy with his scramble here. He decided to take off too fast, where he probably could have waited. And I don't know if this was a design QB run or not, because I wasn't sure how the wide receivers' routes developed down the field. But I think he saw man-to-man coverage, and the defenders were turning their back to him. And so he said, oh, I can run, because the pass protection was good. The pass protection was good. It wasn't a run-blocking offensive line, so he had holes to run through. And so he said, I'll just take off and run. Unfortunately, Florida State noticed him running, and that fast on defense, that speed on defense pursued him, and they were all over it, so he really couldn't do anything. I think he could have held on to the ball a little bit longer here to make them go up the field more if he wanted to run and then ran. But, neither here or there. It just didn't work out that way. Now, we had to punt the ball again. So what is that? That's 6 punts in a row. 6 punts in a row. 3 by each team now. So the defenses are locking in. 1 minute, 1 second mark. Okay pass protection for Francois. It was okay if Alabama was starting to close in a little bit, or at least we're giving some of the tackles trouble. But Francois found Izzo. So they're in 2 minute offenses. So this is where Florida State finally got some success again for the first time in a long drive. This first drive that didn't end in a punt right before halftime. Francois found Izzo for 10 yards against the zone defense. Then on the next play, 49 seconds left in the second quarter, zone blitz from Rashawn Evans leaves Izzo open again because it was a zone. So Evans leaving his zone blitzing, Izzo settled in his zone, got the first down and more. So it really wasn't a coverage thing here. It was more like just an easy open throw. The blitz didn't work. So at the 35-second mark, Isaiah Buggs is working Cole Minshew, just working him. But he can't get the Francois in time here. And at least the Francois throwing the ball out there to Alden Tate with Anthony Averett covering him. Anthony Averett, though, was coming back to the ball fast. He was coming back really fast and played tight coverage. But he lost his balance trying to get back to the ball when he saw it come out. And he ended up hitting Tate or like grabbing him, or like his arm pushing him as he was going out of bounds, which led to the PI call. So it's pass interference, unfortunately. I don't really blame Anthony Avery, though. That was just a tough play. 26 seconds left. Great pass protection. Florida State, although I think Alabama was playing contained while sending Deshaun Hand, similar to how Florida State did Brian Burns earlier when they were playing contained and let him rush from that one side on the right side. Keith Holcomb, though, Keith Holcomb read Francois. This is when Francois, in this second quarter, when Francois started feeling the pressure. At these moments, this is when I think he started to feel the pressure and started his bad throws and bad decisions. I think this is when it started. Not at this moment, but just overall in the second quarter, and this is an example of that. Keith Holcomb read Francois' eyes and followed him on this play. And when Francois threw the ball, Keith Holcomb jumped up and almost picked the ball off. Excellent play by Keith Holcomb. Good instincts, good reading. And the tip from the almost pick actually led to Sean Deion Hamilton almost getting the interception, but they both dropped it. So missed opportunity from Alabama. 21 seconds left. Deron Payne just moved Landon Dickerson out of his way. He just moved him out of his way on the rush. It was scary. But Dickerson clipped him just enough to slow him down. And that allowed a vacant spot to open up where Payne was rushing. And Francois tried to scramble in that vacant spot, but Quentin Williams had his boys back, and he caught Francois right before the line of scrimmage, or right at the line of scrimmage. So good play by Quentin Williams to pursue. Excellent pass rush move. Why is my shirt falling now? Excellent pass rush move by Deron Payne to beat Dickerson, though. 16 seconds left. Bama sent a heavy blitz, and played man coverage. And the blitz was picked up. This is the last play before the block field goal. The blitz was picked up. This is the infamous non-pass interference call. And this is the reason why Francois was able to get the ball up. But I think the blitz affected Francois. Remember I said this is where he started making bad decisions and throwing bad passes. Francois had all the time in the world to throw because the blitz was picked up. And he throws the ball to Naquan Murray, who was already 2 feet in the end zone, a foot or two in the end zone. The ball was severely underthrown. As Naquan Murray was 2 feet in the end zone, the ball was barely crossing the goal line. And as you know, Tony Brown was beat here, so it actually was bad coverage this time. Tony Brown was beat, but with his elite track speed, was actually catching up. And the ball was where Tony Brown was. So in order for Naquan Murray to get this ball, he had to come back and play the ball through Tony Brown. The problem with it, and so people said, well, Tony Brown touched him, though, and it was pass interference. And while I agree that they have called that pass interference play like that many times before when DB just touches the receiver early, I get that. I'm not saying that it could not have been called or that it shouldn't be called. But when I keep looking at this play, there was no way for Brown not to be contacted by Murray, or Murray contacting Brown, or Brown to contact Murray. There was just no way for it to happen because of where the ball was placed. And I truly believe that's why they didn't call pass interference. Because there was no way for that ball, there was no way for Naquan Murray to get to that ball without having contact with Tony Brown. There was just no way. Now, you can disagree with me. I'm not saying you have to agree with me, but from what I look at here, based on what I see from this play, I'm not saying that it can't be called because it could have been called. But based on that, I don't think that it should have been called. And I agree with the decision not to call it, actually. Florida State fans, obviously, you probably would disagree. I would love to hear why, especially in light of the reasons that I just gave. If you agree somewhat with what I have to say, or you disagree completely, or you agree with me completely, let me know. I want to talk about it in the comment section. Alabama fans, let me know what you think about my position. You know, you may actually completely disagree and say, you know what, now give them the pass interference. Honestly, I don't believe Florida State lost the game because of the pass interference, because I think we still played better than them down the stretch. But this was a big play. I admit that. So that was the last play of the second half. Well, technically it wasn't, because then the field goal got blocked because of Guayo kicked the ball low, and and that kept the score 10-7. Florida State, at best in this situation, could have went up 14-10 if they got the pass interference and then punched it in, or they could have gotten 10-10, but they ended up with a block kick, and now it's 10-7. That is the second quarter. Thank you for listening. I love to interact with you. See you for the next video.